Hello everyone, my name is Derek and let's talk guitars. So today I have a couple of my most recent acquisitions to my guitar collection. These are both Harley Benton brand guitars. I got these shipped from Germany to where I'm in the US. It ended up being about $400 total for both. I just wanted to document basically my first reactions with them, which I will intersperse into the video. So the box definitely has seen better days. As well as my thoughts on the guitars after owning them for a couple of weeks, and just how they feel as mod projects and as just guitars from the around $150, $170 price point. Yo. Oh, that's sick. What do you think, Midna? Shit, that's sick. I basically want to start with this one first. This one was the one that I was most excited to grab. I've been looking for a white Les Paul Custom-esque guitar for a while now. I wanted to have one basically since I got really into MCR, and I wanted to have something like Frank Iyer's Pansy. So this is what I ended up getting, which is the SC-500. Basically Harley Benton's Les Paul Custom. The top actually, or the headstock actually has quite a bit of movement in the fake abalone, whatever it is, but it's really sick. I actually quite like it a lot. The guitar itself sounds pretty good. It feels really, really solid. The neck is not super thin, but it's definitely not super thick. I would say it's probably like, maybe like a thin C or something like that. It's really quite thin. And it also has a nice set neck joint, as well as like upper access carve right here, so getting up to these frets feels pretty darn good and easy. The guitar itself, once set up, plays really well. I don't even have a problem with the pickups. They sound fine. I don't think they're fantastic, but they do pretty much anything you want to as far as hard rock is concerned. They clean up well, they take gain well, and for the most part, they kind of just do their own thing. They're not exactly what I look for in a keeper guitar, so they will be getting swapped out for something a little more articulate. I'm actually putting some Saturday Night Specials in here. Should be happening at some point tomorrow, which are Allen 4 magnets by Seymour Duncan. But you could be totally fine keeping these pickups and just using them. They don't have any feedback issues. There wasn't any large amounts of microphonic action. They don't, like, you hit the guitar and it doesn't ring. So overall, they're actually quite good pickups. I'm probably going to save them for another project. This guitar has a basswood body and a blackwood fretboard, and I believe the neck is mahogany. I'm not 100% sure. Some sort of graphite nut, as well as unbranded sealed tuners. Honestly, there's not much to complain about with this guitar. Now, when I did get it, actually, there was a bit to complain about, which was that the 3rd fret inlay and the 9th fret inlay were both actually coming out of the fretboard. Something that I was able to remedy. Some of you may know that I work as a guitar tech, so I had access to things like water-thin super glue and clamps, and just fixes that you can use for this kind of stuff. Don't make my mistake, which is that I didn't have any sort of like wax paper or gel to cover the fretboard from the super glue, so I ended up actually taping or super gluing parts of capos, which I'd use as clamps, to the fretboard. So I spent about an hour using a razor blade to get all the foam off. Now though, they're nice and flat and straight, and the fretboard doesn't feel like there's anything on it at all, so super nice. It's like, other than that, it's not a bad guitar. It plays really well, it resonates really well. Something I was not expecting to have on this guitar is that it resonates really well. It's just a good guitar. I don't know. I was not expecting to like it as much as I did. I was expecting to have to put a lot more work into it. So besides the inlays and the fretboard, which if you don't like the feel of artificial woods, you may not like this. It feels mildly similar to ebony, but it feels warmer, is the only way I can say it. Ebony tends to feel kind of cold to me, so this feels a tiny bit warmer. I don't have a better way to explain that, but it's fine. It doesn't really get in the way. The frets were nice. They could use polishing. I ended up doing that when I did a setup on the guitar, so that may feel a bit scratchy. Personally, I don't bend that much, so it's not really a problem for me, but a couple of my friends who were playing the guitar mentioned it, so thought it'd be worth mentioning. Switch also needed some deoxit. Basically, it was not catching the bridge pickup 100% of the time, so I just need a little bit of cleaning. The one thing I will complain about, besides the fret inlays, are these tuners. These tuners on this specific guitar are awful. They're so terrible. I don't know how else to say that. They're just bad. They're jumpy. I mean, they hold tune well enough, but getting to tune is kind of a pain, and I don't like them. I thought we were kind of past the point where that kind of stuff was an issue, but apparently not. To be fair, these are $150 guitars, and I'm throwing $40 lock-in tuners in there, so for the price of basically one of the Les Paul specials or SG specials that you can get from Epiphone, which also have awful tuners, you can basically get this guitar and upgrade the tuners. So, you know, not that big a deal, but it is something to keep aware of. And there are a few cosmetic defects on this guitar specifically. One that I actually just noticed while filming was at the very tip of this headstock here. There is a little bit of wood that is not painted white with the finish, as well as the binding cutaway right here is a tiny bit thick. But that's stuff that I kind of didn't notice on first unboxing, and I don't think most people would either. So overall, great playing guitar. I can get the action nice and low, the truss jog works, all the hardware works, everything sounds pretty good. Obviously some upgrades are necessary in my personal opinion, but there's no reason that you couldn't get this as your first guitar and just rock with it. Swapping over to the DCJunior. Oh, that's a lot lighter. That's a lot darker of a blue than I was expecting. That's a lot darker of a blue than I was expecting. This is more akin to my Telecaster than what I was expecting with the Pelham, but I basically had no issues with this guitar whatsoever. All the hardware works great. The intonatable wrap tail works awesome. The tuners have been awesome, despite the fact that they're button tuners, which I normally hate. They've worked reasonably well. The neck is supposed to be a fat neck. It doesn't really feel that fat. It's definitely like chunkier than I would expect, but not by much. It fits really comfortably in the palm of my hand, and I'm used to playing very thin guitar necks, things like Jacksons and Edwards and stuff like that. So, you know, it works for me. The volume and tone, obviously just one tone and volume, work, I don't know. The one thing I will say that I was not disappointed about, but I wished was a little bit different was the actual pickup that's in here. When I was taking this guitar apart, I decided to take out the pickup just to see what it was and, you know, kind of get an idea of, you know, what I'm kind of dealing with. And it seems like this may be a neck pickup, for lack of a better phrase. There were markings on it that basically said like P90 N BK. Obviously, BK being black, I'm assuming the N means neck. It still rings pretty true, so it's not that big a deal. It still gives like close to a pretty solid P90 grit. It's just like not as chimey as I would expect from bridge pickup, so I will probably be replacing that. The other thing too that I will have to factor in for price is the fact that this guitar desperately needs some pickup shims. For those of you who are used to dog ear P90s, you'll know that that amount of distance between the strings and the pickup is not good. This is about 8/64 of an inch, or basically like what, 1/8 of an inch between the strings and the bridge pickup, and that is very, very, very far for a P90. So I will be picking up some like Lawler dog ear shims at some point to raise the pickup up, as well as maybe getting either an Antiquity or a Gibson dog ear P90 to toss in here. But as far as the rest of the hardware is concerned, it actually plays well. It feels really good in the hand. This one is nice and light. I don't think I mentioned that when I was talking about the other guitar, but that guitar is heavy as hell. It's supposed to be a basswood body, which makes me very, very worried about what kind of basswood they're using. Basswood is generally pretty light, so I have no idea what's in there, but it easily rivals like one of my early 2000s Epiphones that has like a full maple cap. So, but this one is nice and light. It's definitely like not SG light. I would say if I had to hazard a guess, I would probably say it's about 7.5 pounds, but it's definitely like nice and easy to carry around. It's hefty enough to feel like substantial, but it's light enough that I don't feel like I'm gonna wreck my back wearing this thing. One other thing I feel like I should mention, it was not on the other guitar, it is on this one. There's actually a flute. So if you like volutes, no, they're just good guitars. They sound fine. I'm probably not going to do any sound demos for this specific set. I'm going to be upgrading that one tomorrow. I have no idea when I'm upgrading this one, but they sound like P90s. Like, they sound like P90s, they sound like PAFs. I don't think it's particularly necessary. They sound fine, is the end of the story. Obviously, if you have a specific thing in mind, like I do, I have a specific thing that I'm looking for, and for that guitar over there, I'm specifically looking to upgrade them to Alnico 4 magnets because that's just what I like. But these would be totally fine as a backup guitar, as your first guitar, as your second guitar, as a kit guitar, modding guitar. You know, even if you pay $150 and all you get is a usable husk, I think that's fantastic. So anyway, I will put links in the description for these specific models. This one is in the Benton blue finish, so I'm not sure if this will be available. They said they're only making a small run of them. I think on the website it said 250. I'm not sure if that is going to be small runs of 250 or if it's going to be 250 total. Who knows? I will link at the very least to the model so that way you can get the exact same one if you like the look and think the playability feels good. I don't remember what the body wood of this is, but the neck is amaranth, which is not a wood that I heard of, but it feels good. It feels a little bit like rosewood, but quite a lot smoother. You can't really feel like the grain as much, but it plays well, and that's kind of all that matters. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed, and hope you have a great day.